Most are merely discarded. Discarded down the side of the bed, where I have actually a small pile of young boys that have done interviews and then just been thrown like chip paper. But my guest this morning is a man that we've invited back because he is so fantastic, so witty, so delightful, so sweet, so talented.
Oh, she's marvellous, isn't she?
It's Harley Johnson, and he's written this fantastic book which is called A Bone in My Flute.
That's correct.
Just the sort of thing I like to say.
Well, I'm sure you've got a bone in yours, Paula.
I have, now that I'm on the bed with you. Now, when you were last on the bed, you were actually in the throes of writing this. Was
I've actually written it and I was in the throes of editing.
Oh, was that worse?
It was very hard, Paula.
Good. Was it traumatic, sort of, going through it all, or was it sort of a glorious trip down memory lane for you?
It was both, really, you know. The favourite question of interviewers is, was it a cathartic experience? And it was in the sense...
Sounds like big enema.
It does, doesn't it? But it was fun. I'm remembering all the kind of moments in Liverpool when Frankie Goes to Hollywood. We were, rehearsing every night, and when it was more fun, really, and there was no business associated with it, because that's when it gets boring, really.
Have your parents find it, have they read the book? Did they find it hard to accept that you were gay and then read the book as well?
Well, I don't know, really. I have sent them a signed copy. But I'm really not quite... I was a bit worried about that aspect, because it must be difficult for them to read, about the intimate details of my life, in a sense. But I think the issues that I discuss about being a teenager and about being gay and, and a heterosexual family, I think they're important because there's too many, gay teenagers that end up on the streets because they're misunderstood by their family.
Do you think it's still as hard?
I think perhaps it's not as hard as it was when I was a teenager. But there has also been a kind of backlash against gayness in the last 10 years because of the AIDS epidemic. I think it's been more difficult in the last 10 years again.
Your father was very hard on you, though, wasn't he, when you were little?
Well, I think in his universe, being harsh towards my effeminacy was just a genuine act of love, because he's this big macho scouser who felt that if I was going to survive on the streets of Liverpool, I had to be kind of perhaps tougher than I was. And, his idea about being gay was that he thought gay people ended up dead on the floor of public toilets and things like that. And he obviously didn't want that to happen to me. So I think that's why he reacted in the way. It was just a protection thing from his point of view and his lack of experience and understanding of gayness.
Now, were you seething about the vote, about bringing down the age of
I was absolutely incensed. I thought, do we live in a retarded nation? These MPs are supposed to be educated people. And it's embarrassing to be British that we lag behind the rest of Europe and the rest of the world so much on that particular issue. And I can't wait for the European Court of Human Rights to overturn that decision.
At the moment, how's your outlook?
Very bright and breezy and optimistic at the moment. There's just so much I want to do and I feel excited about at the moment that, there's no time to be down, really. And I think keeping a positive outlook is very important because, if you get all depressed and internalise everything, it's just not good for your health.
Are you still painting?
Yes, I've done quite a bit of painting over the last 5 years, and I plan to have an exhibition, but I've got to get all the book stuff over with first.
Now that you've done a book, do you think you'll do another one? Do you not think it's a bit like chocolates where you have to eat the whole box and you suddenly think, well, maybe I'll do another book?
Well, actually, I found it extremely hard work writing a book. I mean, most people get someone to write theirs for them, which I didn't do, and perhaps I might have done if I realised what a hard job it is.
No, because then they always write it in that funny style.
Like a journalist, yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad for that reason that it was my voice and not someone else's. I might do, but I've got to live a bit more life first, and so I've got new things to write about. Do you know what I mean? I've been asked to write a novel, which is something that I'll think about, but I imagine that's really hard.
Well, you could just write a real book and pretend it was a novel.
Yeah, that's true.
What
Change
a
all the
sneaky
names.
idea. Well, it's been very lovely, as always, to be on the bed with you.
Thank you, Paula.
Holly, please. You're making a mad grab at my left bosom.
I will if you like.
Please do.